Okay, let's look at now a few of the different brush tips inside of Photoshop now that we've sort of understood the basics of how the brush works. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to pick a few of these random tips. I'll just go ahead and select this one right here in the middle. It's looks like it's sort of this chalk looking brush, and I'll go sort of big so you can see the actual brush shape right there. But if we sort of brush around, we get some interesting strokes we can make with this sort of tip. And again, all of the settings here, opacity, flow, all those sort of things, all work with the varying types of brush tips. Now I'm going to select this one down here. It's this little number 134 here, and you'll see that this brush is actually a brush that has some of these jittering properties applied. So I'm going to switch my foreground and background color here to some greens. I'll do a green there and maybe a little bit of a darker green here because this kind of looks like grass. Now this preset already has jitter. So if I just drag from left to right, you'll see that it randomizes the rotation slightly, it randomizes the size slightly, and then it also has the color jitter because it's randomizing the color as well. So you can sort of paint this layered, grass field just by adjusting your size there and stroking away there with your mouse or whatnot. So some of these presets already have some of those jitter settings applied in the, built into the brush. Now, really quickly, we're going to look at a few of these brush tips, which we haven't touched on yet. And really, to use these brush tips a bit more effectively, you do need a Wacom tablet because a lot of them are tilt-based brushes, and I'll show you what that looks like here right now. So let's go ahead and just pick one of these at random. I'll just go ahead and grab this brush. Now you can see with this brush, I get this preview window up here at the top left. And that's because this is a special Photoshop brush, meaning the brush will actually be affected by the tilt and rotation of my actual pen on the stylus. So you can sort of rotate to the left and rotate to the right to affect the different way. And you can kind of see this preview here. I'm actually moving my pen around in air here so you can see this. And you can see the preview at the top left shows you the brush tip, and then this down here sort of shows you as if you were looking straight up into the brush bristles. And you can see depending on how, if I hold it just perfectly straight, this is just a straight on stroke. And if I tilt to one side, I now have a tilt stroke. And this is getting a little bit messy. Let me hurry and clean this up. Whoops. Got to go back to my default colors there. D on the keyboard does that. So if I go straight up and down, I just get, a brush tip that looks like this. And if I tilt to one side, I get this. If I tilt to the other side, I get this. And so, if you tilt up or down, depending on which way you're tilting, you can sort of paint these really interesting sort of lifelike strokes to simulate actual painting and tilt. So these brushes definitely work with tablets, but you have different brushes for bristle brushes and notable brushes and things like that that you can play around with inside of here in Photoshop.